I killed my brother with my own hands, or, at least, that's what the world thinks. Because I woke up wearing his face like a goddamn Halloween mask that wouldn't come off. My father, the golden boy of Wall Street who preached family above all, sold me out to cover his son's messes, draining every cent I'd scraped together for my dreams. And in that betrayal, he handed me the perfect weapon, a lab-engineered swap that turned me into the monster he created. But here's the hook that keeps me up at night. When I buried him in my old body, whispering apologies into the grave, I realized the real corpse was our family legacy, rotting from the inside out, and I was just the shovel. The rain hammered down on the windshield of my beat-up Ford Focus, like it was trying to wash away the last shreds of who I used to be. It was a Tuesday in late October, the kind of gray Chicago afternoon that sucks the color out of everything, turning the magnificent mile into a smear of neon regret. I'd just pulled into the parking garage of my father's high-rise office building, the one with the marble lobby that screamed, "I've made it," to anyone dumb enough to believe it. My hands gripped the steering wheel so tight my knuckles ached, but it wasn't the drive from my shoebox apartment in Pilsen that had me shaking. It was the email from my bank. Timestamped 3:47 p.m., account balance, $0. Transaction, wire transfer to redacted, bail bond services. Dad had done it again. Drained my savings, every last penny from 2 years of waitressing double shifts and freelancing graphic design gigs, to bail out my brother, Ethan. The golden child. The fuck-up with a trust fund smile and a rap sheet longer than his bar tab. This time, it was vehicular manslaughter. Some kid on a bike smeared across Lakeshore Drive because Ethan thought red lights were suggestions after one too many lines at the Viper Room knockoff downtown. I slammed the car door, the echo bouncing off the concrete pillars like a gunshot. My boots splashed through puddles as I stormed toward the elevator. The weight of my backpack, stuffed with the lease agreement for that tiny studio in Wicker Park I'd been saving for, feeling like an anchor now. Aubrey Hayes, 28 years old, artist with a half-finished mural series on Urban Decay, reduced to a human ATM for her brother's endless spiral. The elevator ride up to the 42nd floor was a blur of muzak and mirrored walls that made me look smaller, frilier, than I felt. I caught my reflection, dark curls frizzing in the humidity, hazel eyes narrowed to slits, freckles across my nose like war paint. I'd always been the fixer in the family, the one who patched up Ethan's scrapes as kids, who covered for his lies in high school, who swallowed the guilt when Dad's expectations fell on me like lead weights. "You're the strong one, Aubrey," he'd say, clapping my shoulder while handing me the checkbook for Ethan's latest investment opportunity. Yeah, strong enough to carry the load, but never to drop it. The receptionist, a Botox blonde named Kendra who called me honey like it was a weapon, buzzed me through without a second glance. Dad's corner office overlooked the loop, all glass and steel, a throne room for Richard Hayes, Senior VP at Sterling Capital Partners. He was on the phone when I burst in, his back to me, silver hair perfectly coiffed, navy suit tailored to hide the paunch from too many client lunches. "Yes, Senator. The PAC donation is en route. We'll make sure your infrastructure bill gets the green light." He chuckled, that low rumble that always made deals close. Then he spun in his leather chair, face lighting up like I'd brought coffee instead of fury. "Aubrey, sweetheart, what a surprise." Sit. Sit. I didn't sit. I threw my backpack on his desk, scattering pens and a crystal decanter of scotch. "You son of a bitch. My account's empty." Again. He sighed. The sound of a man who'd rehearsed disappointment 1,000 times. It's temporary.
Alstublieft.
Ethan. Ethan hit a kid with his BMW. A 12-year-old.
Dad.
And you wiped me out to spring him? I had $12,000 in there. For my life. Not his get-out-of-jail-free card. His eyes hardened, the warmth evaporating like morning fog off Lake Michigan. Family sticks together. You know that. Ethan's got potential, he's just misguided. You, with your art, it's a hobby, not a future. This money will get him into rehab, clean him up. He'll pay you back. Like last time, or the time before. I'm not your safety net anymore. My voice cracked, but I held his gaze. Outside, thunder rolled, lightning fracturing the skyline like veins. He stood, towering over me at 6 feet 2 inches, his presence filling the room the way it always had, commanding, unyielding. You owe this family. Remember the accident? Sophomore year? That party in the woods? The bonfire that got out of hand? Ethan took the fall for you. Said it was his idea. His beer. Cops could have charged you with arson. Reckless endangerment. I pulled strings. Buried it. You think that's free? My stomach twisted. The fire. I'd been drunk. Stupid. Tossing a bottle rocket into dry leaves as a dare. Flames licked up fast, singeing the oaks, nearly trapping a dozen kids. Ethan confessed. Did community service. But Dad had twisted it. Made it my debt eternal. That was 10 years ago. I was a kid. And now you're an adult who needs to step up. He rounded the desk, gripping my shoulders, his cologne sharp as regret. Ethan's my legacy. The sun will take over Hayes and Sons one day. You're the daughter who sketches pretty pictures.
Help us.
Aubrey. For once. I shrugged him off, grabbing my bag. Your legacy's a junkie with blood on his hands. Call me when it's my turn to be saved. The door clicked shut behind me, but his words echoed all the way down. In the garage, I sat in the Focus, engine idling, tears mixing with rain on my cheeks. My phone buzzed, a text from Ethan.
Sis.
Dad says you mad. Come through, need to talk. Got a surprise for you.
Surprise.
Like the time he surprised me with tickets to Lollapalooza, funded by pawning my grandmother's necklace. Or the surprise pregnancy scare he laughed off while I panicked alone. I typed back, fuck your surprises. Rot in jail. But curiosity. That bitch. Won. An hour later, I was at his loft in West Loop, the kind of exposed brick palace Daddy's money bought despite the felony record. Ethan answered the door shirtless. Track marks faint on his arms. A grin splitting his face like nothing had happened.
Obs.
Get in here. The place reeked of weed and takeout Thai. Floor littered with baggies and crumpled bills. He led me to the kitchen island, where a sleek black box sat like a Pandora's promise. Check this out. From a client, some tech whiz in Silicon Prairie. Says it's the future. He flipped the lid, revealing vials of clear liquid and an injector pen, like an EpiPen for the apocalypse. A pamphlet beside it, Neurosync, Body Autonomy Reimagined. Swap Perspectives. Live Another's Truth. FDA Trials Pending. What the hell is this? I snatched the pamphlet, scanning the fine print. Experimental neural mapping. Temporary consciousness transfer. For therapy, Empathy training. Ethan, this is sci-fi bullshit. You stole it.
Nah.
Earned it. Traded some. Intel. Look. After the crash.
I was spiraling.
This guy's lab? They're onto something huge. Imagine feeling what someone else feels. No more misunderstandings. I laughed. Bitter. Like you'd ever understand mine. You and Dad treat me like the family mule. His eyes flickered. Guilt? Or calculation? That's why I want you to try it with me. 1 shot each. Swap for a day. Walk in my shoes. See the pressure. The noise in my head. Then maybe you'll get why I need you guys. I should have walked. But the emptiness in my account. The fire's ghost. Dad's grip on my shoulder, it all coiled tight.
Fine.
1 day. Prove me wrong. We prepped like junkies chasing a fix. Cleared the counter. Dimmed lights. Sat cross-legged on yoga mats Ethan swore were grounding. The injector hissed against my thigh. Cold fire blooming. Then darkness swallowing me whole. When I woke, the world tilted. My hands bigger. Calloused. Veins like rivers under tattooed skin, pushed me up. I stumbled to the bathroom mirror. And Ethan's face stared back. Sharp jaw. Blue eyes bloodshot. Stubble shadowing a smirk that wasn't mine. Holy shit, I whispered. But his voice rumbled out. Deeper. Laced with smoke. Across the loft. My body stirred. Hazel eyes fluttering open in confusion. Aubrey?
What?
Fuck. This is trippy. I was in Ethan's skin. And for the first time, I felt it, the itch under the surface. The secrets pulsing like a second heartbeat. The first hour in Ethan's body was a violation. Every nerve firing wrong. His legs were longer, throwing off my balance as I paced the loft. The hardwood cool under bare feet that were mine. His heart hammered too fast. A junkie's metronome. And when I caught his reflection in the window, overlooking the Chicago River, the city lights mocking me from below, I wanted to punch the glass. Those eyes, so like Dad's, held a stranger's desperation I hadn't anticipated. Aubrey? Her voice, came from the couch, small and edged with panic. My old body huddled there, knees drawn up, curls tangled like she'd been electrocuted. Which,
In a way,
she had. This feels
wrong.
like I'm floating outside myself. I crossed to her, me, dropping to a crouch, our faces inches apart. Seeing my own freckles. The scar on my chin from a skateboarding wipeout at 16. It was surreal. Intimate. Invasive. It's the swap. Temporary. 24 hours. Then we reverse it. Breathe. She nodded. But my hands trembled as she touched her cheek. Your skin's so
Rough.
and everything's louder. The traffic. My thoughts. Ethan's thoughts. I flinched. Ethan's thoughts. They buzzed at the edges of my mind, fragments of last night's binge. The screech of tires on wet asphalt. The kid's scream cut short. Guilt. Sharp as broken glass. But deeper. Something colder, a plan. Half-formed. About Dad's safe. Offshore accounts. A way out.
Yeah.
It's messy in here. We spent the morning cataloging the differences, like scientists in a funhouse mirror. I showed her, how to navigate his height, the way his shoulders slumped under invisible weight. She taught me to soften his gait, to smile without the smirk that made people cross the street. We ordered pizza, his favorite, deep dish with extra sausage, and laughed uneasily as I devoured it. His metabolism, a furnace I couldn't control. But laughter faded by noon. My phone, his phone, lit up with notifications. Texts from dealers, yo. Where's my cut? Calls from dad. Son. Meeting with the lawyers at 2. Don't fuck this up.
And buried in the apps,
A hidden folder, photos of me, Aubrey, from years back. Candid shots at family barbecues. My art show opening. Even one from the fire that night, flames reflecting in my eyes. Ethan's arms slung around me protectively. But the timestamp was wrong. He'd been across the clearing, too wasted to move. Why do you have these? I demanded when she, in my body, peered over my shoulder. She shrugged, my shoulders rising awkwardly. Memories? You're his sister. His anchor. Anchor. The word soured. I scrolled deeper. Emails to dad. Pleading for cash. Blaming me for holding him back with my drama. Aubrey's the one who needs fixing.
not me.
Send the money here. And there, the kicker, a draft letter to the cops. Anonymous tip. Aubrey Hayes started the bonfire. Ethan covered for her. Check the logs. My blood, his blood, boiled. You're gonna rat me out. After everything. Her face, my face, paled. I didn't send it. It was anger. Dad always picks you. The responsible one. I was spiraling. Spiraling? You crashed into a kid. Because of what? Coke? And now Dad empties my account to save your ass. I stood, towering over her. Ethan's frame making me feel monstrous. I carried your blame for the fire. Community service in your name. Lost scholarships. And you were gonna flip it on me? Tears welled in her eyes, my eyes. Ethan's head. It's chaos. Voices saying I'm worthless. That dad loves you more. I didn't mean. Save it. I grabbed his jacket. Leather worn soft from too many nights out. I'm going to Dad's office. In your skin. See how he likes bailing out the real fuck-up. Aubrey.
Wait.
The swap. But I was out the door. Rain slicking the streets as I hailed a cab. The driver glanced at me, him, in the rear view. Suspicion in his eyes. You look like trouble.
Mun.
You have no idea, I muttered. Ethan's voice gravelly with my rage. Dad's office was a fortress. But I had the code. Ethan's birthday. Because of course. Kendra wasn't at her desk. Lunch hour mercy. I slipped in. The city sprawling below like a conquered kingdom. Dad was at his desk. Poring over documents. The bail papers crisp and damning. Son, he said without looking up. You're early.
Good. Seat.
I sat. Legs sprawling in that careless way Ethan did. Heart pounding. Up close. The lines on his face were canyons, etched by deals and denials. About the bail. Aubrey's pissed. Drained her dry. He waved a hand. She'll get over it. Always does. You're the priority.
Ethan.
The name carries on with you. And if I fuck up again, like the fire? The words slipped out.
Testing.
His pen paused. The fire was a mistake. You owned it for the family. Aubrey was just collateral. Collateral. Not daughter. Not even person. What if it wasn't me? What if she started it? Dad's eyes snapped to mine.
Sharp as a scalpel.
Don't play games.
Boy. You confessed.
Protected her. That's what brothers do. I leaned forward. Ethan's smirk twisting my lips. Yeah? And what do daughters do? Carry the blame forever. He studied me, unease flickering. Ethan, what's gotten into you? This isn't. My phone buzzed, her phone. In my old body back at the loft. A text. Aubrey. Something's wrong. Memories flooding. The crash. Dad knew. Dad knew? I pocketed the phone.
Standing.
Nothing.
Dad.
Just realizing. Family sticks together.
Right?
Even when it sticks knives in your back. I left him frowning. The elevator descent a free fall into truth. Back at the loft. She was frantic, pacing in my skin. Aubrey, Ethan, whatever. I saw it. In his memories. The crash? Dad called right before. Told him to handle it if cops pulled him over. Cover-up money already wired. Betrayal layered on betrayal. Dad hadn't just bailed Ethan. He'd orchestrated the escape. Pulling strings with his senator buddies. The kid on the bike. Acceptable damage for the Hayes empire. We reverse now, I said, grabbing the injector. But as the needle pricked, a glitch, pain lancing through us both. The room spun, but when clarity hit, I was still me. Still him. The pamphlet lied, the swap had locked. 24 hours stretched to eternity. And in Ethan's body, with his secrets burning holes in my soul, I plotted. Not just revenge. Reckoning. Days blurred into a nightmare funhouse. Ethan's body a prison of borrowed sins. The swap wouldn't reverse. The tech was client ghosted Ethan's burner phone. Leaving voicemails in Silicon Valley drawls, complications in neural sync. Extended dwell time advised. Call if psychosis manifests. Psychosis? I laughed maniacal in his baritone, while staring at the ceiling cracks in the loft. My old body across from me, curled fetal on the air mattress we dragged in. We took turns venturing out, minimizing exposure. She, in my skin, handled my waitressing shift at the corner diner, her tips dipping because Aubrey moved like a ghost. All hesitant grace where I was fire. I played Ethan, dodging his dealer in an alley off Division Street, the guy's switchblade glinting under sodium lamps. Where's my product? Hayes, you owe big. Family business, I growled, shoving a wad of Dad's allowance cash into his filthy paw. Ethan's wallet was a black hole of IOUs, but it bought silence.
For now.
Nights were worse. His insomnia wired me awake. Mind replaying the crash in HD. The kid's bike weaving. Ethan's foot heavy on the gas. Dad's voice on speaker. If you hit a snag, use the offshore slush. Make it disappear. Disappear. Like the security footage I'd hacked from a traffic cam app on his phone, scrubbed clean, but backups lingered in the cloud. Dad's doing, no doubt. The Senator's PAC? Funded by donations from shell companies tied to Sterling Capital. Power wasn't just money, it was erasure. She confessed more. Ethan's memories leaking like a sieve. I planted that draft tip about the fire to guilt Dad into more cash. But deeper. The fire wasn't an accident. You threw the rocket. Yeah. But Ethan spiked the punch with Everclear. Wanted chaos to cover stealing Dad's Rolex from the cabin. It escalated. He blamed you in his head. Always. My fists clenched, knuckles splitting his knuckles. scarred from bar fights I never threw. And you? In my body. What do you see? Her voice, my voice, softened. Regret. Layers of it. You swallowed the fire blame to protect him, lost your spot at the Art Institute. Dad praised him for manning up, ignored your tears. And the savings. Every drain was his idea. Whispering in Dad's ear. Aubrey doesn't need it, she said.
Set.
Like a trap. I paced to the window. Chicago's skyline a jagged crown of lies. The magnificent mile glittered. Tourists oblivious to the rot beneath. We exposed them. Both. But she hesitated. My old empathy warring with his cowardice. And us? Stuck like this? Cops see Ethan walking free. They'll nail you, me, for fleeing the scene. Bail jumper. She was right. Controversial decisions loomed. Do I frame Dad with the footage? Risk dragging innocents, clients, the senator's staff into scandal? Or deeper, use Ethan's access to Sterling servers? Leak the slush fund? Topple the empire? It had hurt thousands, jobs lost, pensions vaporized. But fuck collateral. I'd been it too long. By week 2, hunger gnawed, not for food, but action. I hit the streets as Ethan, schmoozing his contacts, a crooked PI from the bail bonds, a hacker kid in a Logan Square basement who owed him a favor. Need dirt on Richard Hayes, I told the hacker. Voice low over Red Bull and RGB lit rigs. Everything. Files flooded in, emails, wire transfers, a hidden ledger. Dad hadn't just covered the crash, he'd done it before. Ethan's DUIs. Assault charge from a club brawl, all vanished with payoffs. And the fire? Insurance payout to Dad's firm. Funneled back as loans to Ethan. Incestuous. The betrayal. Family as Ponzi scheme. Back at the loft. She waited with takeout and terror. Aubrey. Ethan's dealer cornered me, outside the diner. Said if he doesn't get double, he'll tip the cops about the swap. How'd he know? I froze. The injector box, empty vials, pamphlet. I'd trashed it, but traces lingered. We move.
Now.
We bolted to a motel off I-90. The kind with hourly rates and buzzing neons. Vacancy, no questions. In the stale room, peeling wallpaper yellow as old lies. We huddled over my laptop, her laptop. Screen glowing accusations. I uploaded the footage to a dead man switch. If we didn't check in daily, it blasts to every Chicago news outlet. FBI tip line. But the twist, she whispered. Ethan's fear in my eyes. What if Dad's protecting something bigger? The ledger mentions AH. Directive. Your initials. What if the fire payout funded your tuition? Secretly?
Doubt slithered in.
Had I been bought too? No. Dad's support always came with strings. Invisible nooses. I slammed the laptop shut. Doesn't change shit. Tomorrow, we confront him. In his office. As his perfect son. Dawn broke bloody over the lake. And we drove in silence. My old focus rattling like bones. Kendra waved me, Ethan through. Oblivious. Dad was on a call. Back to the door.
Yes.
The senator's bill passes committee next week. Our contributions insured it. I cleared my throat.
Dad.
We need to talk. He hung up, swiveling, smile fading to stone.
Ethan.
You look haunted. What's this? I dropped the laptop on his desk. Files spilling open. The call log from the crash. Slush wires. The fire's dirty money trail. The truth. You covered murders, Dad. For him. For the name. His face drained, but not shock recognition. Where did you get? Doesn't matter. It's over. He leaned back, steepling fingers. The predator emerging. Over?
Boy.
You think this ends a dynasty? Aubrey's involved too. Her art funded by the same pot. You expose me. You bury her dreams. Lies. Or half-truth. The room spun, tension coiling like a spring. She in my body burst and then, breathless from the elevator run. Dad. Stop. We know everything. His eyes darted between us. Confusion cracking his mask. Aubrey? What the hell? And that's when the real storm hit. Sirens wailing below. Blue lights flashing in the rain-slick streets. The hacker's slip? Or Dad's paranoia? Calling in favors? Cops stormed the lobby. Boots echoing up. We were trapped. In the wrong skins. With the wrong sins. The cuffs bit into Ethan's wrists, my wrists now like teeth. Cold steel echoing the chill in Dad's eyes as the SWAT team breached the office. Richard Hayes. You're under arrest for obstruction. Bribery. Conspiracy. The lead detective, a burly guy with a bear's cap pushed back, recited it like scripture. His partner zip-tying Dad's hands behind his polished chair. Dad didn't struggle. He calculated, gaze flicking from me to her, my body, pale and shaking in the doorway. Ethan. Aubrey, this is a misunderstanding. Call my lawyer. Sterling's counsel on speed dial. But I laughed. The sound hollow in his throat. Misunderstanding? Like the kid you let my brother smear across the highway? Or the fire you paid off with my sister's future? The detective paused. Notepad out. Hayes. Plural? We got a tip, vehicular homicide cover-up. Embezzlement. But two of you? Twins. She stepped forward. Voice steady despite the tremor in my old hands. Not twins.
Swapped.
Some experimental shit.
I'm Aubrey.
This is.
Me.
In his body. Blank stares. The partner snorted. Lady. You high? We got warrants for Richard and Ethan Hayes. Bail jumpers downstairs and holding. Downstairs. They'd ID'd the loft. The motel trace. Ethan's prints, my prints now, on the injector. The files. I was him. Legally. Biologically. The swap's glitch made it permanent. Neural scans would show anomalies. But who believes sci-fi in Cook County? Dad sees the chaos. Voice booming. Officers. My son's unstable. Drugs. Stress. Aubrey. Get out. Family handles family. She froze. Loyalty's last thread snapping. No more. Dad. You drained me, us, for this? The savings. The fire blame. All to keep your prince on the throne. The detective's radio crackled. Suspect Ethan Hayes confirmed in building. Approach with caution. Armed and dangerous per tip. Armed. Ethan's paranoia. Stashing a Glock from a dealer deal in the focus glove box. Wait. I lunged. But they shoved me against the glass wall. City plummeting 42 stories below. Rain lashed the windows. Thunder mocking our farce. In the chaos, Dad whispered to the lead cop, slipping a card, Senator's aide, make this go away. Names you need to know. Bought off. Just like always. Rage boiled. Ethan's muscles coiling. I headbutted the partner. Knee to groin. breaking free in a scramble. She screamed, my scream, as I grabbed Dad's letter opener. Silver and sharp, pressing it to his throat. Tell them the truth, or I carve it out. Controversial? Hell. It was apocalypse. Cops drew, tasers humming. Dad's eyes bulged, but he smirked. You won't.
Ethan.
You're weak. Always were.
Weak.
The word ignited. I nicked his skin, a pearl of blood welling. I'm not him. Say it. Aubrey. The detective lowered his weapon fractionally, confusion rippling. She nodded frantically. It's her. In his body. Please. Sirens swelled. More units arriving. The hacker's dead man switch? Or Dad's web tightening? I released Dad, slumping as they tackled me. Boot to ribs, his ribs cracking like dry twigs. Interrogation was a blur, holding cells stink of bleach and despair. Fluorescent buzz drilling my skull. They grilled Ethan. The crash. The files. The gun in the car. I spilled it all. Dad's calls. The slush. The fire's cover. But the swap? They laughed it off as delusion. Psych eval pending. Across the divider. In women's holding. She banged on the glass. Aubrey. Fight it. The memories, they're merging. I feel your rage. Merging. Ethan's fragments, childhood beatings from Dad for C's. Hookers to toughen him. The fire as escape gone wrong. My anchors. Mom's cancer death hushed to not distract Dad's career. My art as rebellion against the haze mold. By dawn. Bail hearing. Dad's lawyer. Slick as oil. Posted for Ethan. Me, $500K. Courtesy of another offshore dip. But her? My body.
No prayers.
Released on recognizance. Twist of fate. Or design. We met in the courthouse lobby. Rain easing to mist. The files hit the news, she said, handing me a burner phone. Leaks everywhere. Sterling Capital scandal. Exec implicated in hit-and-run cover. Dad's face on every feed. Senator scrambling. But his call came through the burner. Aubrey. Ethan, meet me. The cabin. 1 hour. End this. The cabin. Sight of the fire. Ghosts in the pines. Trap? Or olive branch? Decisions nod. Go as Ethan. Risk recapture? Or send her, my fragile form, into the lion's den? We both go. I decided. Controversial as arming civilians. I hotwired a beater from the impound lot. Ethan's skills a silver lining, and we fled north. I-94 melting into Tulane blacktop. Wisconsin border blurring time. The cabin loomed at dusk, log walls weathered. Oaks scarred from that night 10 years past. Dad waited on the porch. Shotgun across knees, not hunting. Intimidation. Come to gloat. I stepped out first. Ethan's frame silhouetted against headlights. To bury you. He rose. Slow. Eyes gleaming fanatic. Barry, you think you can? The swap, that tech. My investment. Through a proxy. To fix Ethan. Make him you strong. Obedient.
But it backfired.
Now you're the monster. His investment. The client. The vials, all Dad's strings. Betrayal's abyss deepened. She emerged then. My body a ghost in the twilight.
Why, Dad?
The kid. Collateral, he spat, echoing his office lie. Empire first. You too? Pawns. The shotgun rose. Controversial climax. I charged, tackling him into the mud. Fists his fists, raining down. She grabbed the gun, screaming, "Stop!" But Dad twisted, knife from his boot flashing. It sank into Ethan's thigh, my thigh, hot, agony blooming. I roared, pinning him, hands around his throat. For the kid. For me.
Squeeze.
His eyes bulged, veins popping. She pulled me off.
Sobbing. Alive.
We need him alive. But as sirens wailed distant, her 911 whisper, Dad gasped.
Twist.
The fire. I started it. Torched the evidence. Your mom. She knew. Divorce would have ruined me. Blamed you both. Lies, truth. His pulse faded under my fingers.
Dead.
We buried him shallow in the woods. Dawn breaking red. Controversial? Murdering your father. Even a monster's. The grave was hasty. Dirt clods over Dad's slack face. Oaks whispering judgment as we tamped it flat with a shovel from the shed. Blood soaked Ethan's jeans, my jeans, thigh wound throbbing like accusation. But adrenaline numbed it. She bandaged it crude with cabin towels. Her hands, my hands, steady despite the tears carving tracks down freckled cheeks. We killed him.
Aubrey.
Our father. Not ours, I grunted, his voice ragged. The Empire's. Sirens faded, her call timed perfect. Anonymous tip rerouting them to a phantom crash site. But consequences loomed, shadows lengthening with the sun. We torched the cabin, gasoline from the generator shed. Match struck on the porch rail, flames devouring logs like the bonfire reborn. Evidence, the shotgun, his phone with incriminating texts we'd planted. Arson cover for murder. Full circle. Back on the road. The beater coughing toward Chicago. Silence heavy as the grave. News radio crackled. Richard Hayes. Missing amid scandal. Cabin fire suspected arson. Son Ethan prime suspect. My face, his face, plastered everywhere. APB out. But her? Aubrey Hayes. Grieving daughter. Untouched. The swap, she murmured, staring at the blurring pines. It's stabilizing. I feel. Me again. You? Probing my mind, his mind, yes. Edges blurring. But core intact, my rage. His regrets fusing into something lethal. Enough. We end it tonight. Loft first, pack essentials. White prints. Dealers circling. But a final payout from Dad's safe, combination from Ethan's memories, cleared the slate. $50,000 cash. Irony's kiss. Then. Sterling Capital. After hours. Ghost town of cubicles and deal ghosts. I had Ethan's keycard. Access to servers. In the dim server room. Hum of fans like conspirators. I jacked the laptop. Hacker kids virus ready. Upload. Full ledger. Emails. The crash audio recovered from a backed up cloud. To WikiLeaks mirror. CNN tip line. DOJ anonymous drop. But as the progress bar crawled, she hesitated at the door. Aubrey, stop. The twist, Dad's last words. Mom's death. He said divorce. But in your memories, hers, cancer was staged. He poisoned her. Slow. Antifreeze in her gin.
To keep the assets.
The fire? To destroy her letters. Proof. Poison. The ultimate betrayal, chiseled into family marrow. I'd glimpsed it in flashes. Mom's yellowing skin. Dad's care. Her final rasp. Tell the kids. Lies upon graves. The upload hit 100%. Empire crumbling. Live on dark web feeds. But cost? Thousands jobless by morning. Senators' career ash. Ripples to innocents, secretaries, janitors. Small investors fleeced quiet. Controversial? Destroying a titan to free 2 souls. Or hubris damning the city. We fled as alarms wailed. Security closing in.
Final stop, the lab.
The tech whiz's address from Ethan's contacts. A nondescript warehouse in Gary, Indiana. Rust Belt relic. Door ajar. Lights flickering. Inside. White coats abandoned. Vials shattered. Notes on permanent synaptic lock, ethical breach. The reversal injector?
Prototype.
Unstable. 1 dose left. Glowing ominous. Your choice, she said, handing it to me, him. I paused. Mirror on the wall showing Ethan's face. But my eyes staring back. Revert. And I'm Aubrey again, hunted as accessory. Art dreams dust. Family tomb sealed.
Stay.
And I'm Ethan, free in his skin, but forever fugitive. His sins mine. Twisted, I said, injecting me.
Hiss. Shudder.
She gasped, collapsing as bodies realigned. Consciousness snapping home. I woke in my skin, curls damp, freckles familiar. Wound gone, neural echo. She blinked up from the floor. Blue eyes, his eyes confused. Aubrey, it worked.
But.
You're still.
No.
The injector clattered empty. I dosed her. But the lock held for me, or choice. I felt it. Dual essence. Aubrey and Ethan's shell. Hybrid horror. She stood, wobbling in his body. You switched us back. But the files, it's out. Dad's gone.
We're
free.
Free.
The word tasted like ash. Cops would hunt Ethan, but with him, her alive. Confusion reigns. In my body. The grieving artist. Inherit the scraps. Insurance. Art grants from scandal sympathy. We parted at dawn. Her, him, heading west. Mexico whispers in Ethan's veins. Forgive me, she asked, his voice cracking. Debated in hell, I said, but hugged anyway. Blood's curse. Months later. Chicago rebuilds. Sterling liquidated. Senator jailed. Headlines fade to Hayes heiress founds victim fund. My murals now grace the magnificent mile. Urban decay to Phoenix rise. Funded by the ashes. But nights. I trace the scar on my thigh. Phantom ache. Ending? Happy. Justice served. Chains broken. Tragic. Souls fractured. Family mythopire. Controversial. Was Dad monster or mirror? Reflecting our complicity. Did I avenge? Or become the betrayer? Toppling innocence for personal vendetta? You decide. I live it. The rain returns, washing the city clean. Or not.